This new Emperor fight is easily one of the hardest fights in Grand Summoner's history. So hard that I've been seeing so many people say how they have stacked accounts but cannot beat this singular fight. You could have every equip, every unit, everything in the game, but still are going to be struggling with this one. And so I had to see for myself, how bad was it really? By attempting this fight blind, only thing I knew was that you needed different races in the party, like how it was with the OG Emperor fight. So I looked at the different clear times that everyone had, and I decided on a team that would consist of this: the Chloe Diablo, Star God Lisa, and Reyes, with the equips you see down here. And well, let me tell you, the first attempt was an attempt, to say the least. Yeah, your boy got clapped. But the more and more I did this, the more and more I kind of got used to the flow that I needed to go into. Reyes is here as a stat bot. Chloe's here to spam breaks as much as possible. Star God Lisa's here for the equip CT, and she can get off some pretty good damage if she has to get off the super art. Hold on, I'm getting too ahead of myself. Let's actually talk about the mechanics, right? What am I actually trying to beat in this fight? He's going to be pretty much impervious to damage until you get that break off. You can do some pretty good deeps to him, but you really need to get a break off in order to really do anything. Just like his OG fight, like mentioned before, you need different units, because if you don't have different characters, he's fainting units and instantly getting rid of their art gauge. So if you have a team full of humans, you can imagine that's gonna be pretty bad. And the big thing is here is that he also deals just a crazy amounts of damage to whoever he's targeting, including the fact he's also dealing critical damage to them. So bringing some crit res items or stuff that's reducing critical damage would be insane in this fight. And that's kind of like the gist of it. At each threshold, he's gonna do a big attack, which you do have to like kind of damage mitigate through. And if you can't damage mitigate through it, you just die. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of the fight. That sounds like very simple on paper, right? But the DPS that this guy deals is actually insane. Just like so many bosses in this game now, he stacks damage res down on you. So yeah, you can't really be in this fight for too long, or else you're just gonna die because your damage mitigation items aren't doing anything. But one thing I kept noticing the more and more I played this, the more and more I kept getting him down to each threshold, was the fact that Diablo really couldn't hang in here. He just would die every single time. It didn't matter if we had Lisa Smart Skirt, we had the headdress on him, if we had all the stats up, the only way Diablo would survive is that if he was at max HP at every single threshold, and that's just not possible. I could try my best, but no matter what, it just wouldn't be a thing that I could do. And then I went back to the drawing board to quickly realize that yeah, I had no other demon character I could really throw in here. Demon Lord Vox wouldn't really be good, so I'm not using all demons, and I don't want to use my defense slot. Momon would be the perfect option, but of course we don't have Momon, and there's no one else I could necessarily use. If I had Beta, maybe I could use Beta, but I don't have her. So we went right back into fighting. And yeah, let's just say I'm gonna save you guys a lot of time, because this video was over an hour of footage. I finally threw in the towel and I just said, I don't understand this. I don't understand what I need to do. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. I don't get what I'm supposed to be doing here, because there's no way Momon is the only character that can beat this. So I went to YouTube. The first one I found was by Worst at GS, and he used a team that consisted of Shiro, Chloe, Diablo, and Aristilla Orbis, which was very similar to my team. However, they weren't using Reyes, and they also were using Aristilla Orbis, not to mention Shiro as well. One of those characters I have, one of those characters I do not have. But I was looking for a full clear, one with Reyes that used Diablo, and did I find that? Ooh, no. The only thing I found was by this one guy named Sataris, and he used a team that consists of Long, Chloe, Reyes, and Aristilla Orbis. One of the only two units I don't have. And with this team, it would have worked insanely well, because Long would be able to keep up with all the damage on his own. Not to mention, this was an auto comp that he did. Also, with Aristilla Orbis being able to help Chloe with the breaks, it would be insane, because the more you break this guy, the more he reduces his own break res, meaning that you could just kind of constantly have him in break eventually, to where he's not really a threat at all. So with all this newfound knowledge, I decided to go back into it and fight it again. It didn't matter however many times I did it. The very first time I actually went back in here, I got pretty far. As you see, I got all the way to the second to last threshold, which was the first I ever made it with this team comp, which gave me a bit of hope, because I was like, oh, this is actually clearable. You can clear this with this team comp. It's possible. But that was the only run I got within that hour. I never got another run like that one. So exactly at the 1 hour and 20 minute mark, I decided to throw in the towel and say, okay, I'm done. I can't give this any more time than what I'm already doing. I'm doing this without Reyes to see if I can just clear it without the boy on the team. And well, I could. It was one of the easiest clears I ever done. It wasn't even that like crazy. It wasn't scary at all. We used Shiro instead, and yeah, it was good. It literally worked fantastically. Which, by the way, if you are new to the game and you want to clear this fight and you have some of the characters you see here like Star God, like Chloe or whoever, I highly recommend you do it in co-op. I recommend you do every challenge event you can in multiplayer. Don't ever do it by yourself because there's no point. Sure, you can say you cleared it by yourself. Whoop-de-doo, it doesn't matter. Do it in co-op. You'll save yourself so many headaches, not to mention with 4 different players. More than likely, all of you will have the different units you need to actually full clear this in one go. So yeah, this is easily one of the hardest fights I have ever done in the game. Even with him not being super mechanically intensive, apart from the fact that he's just feigning certain races on a rotation, he's reducing their arc age to nothing. The more you break him, the better it is in the fight. And that's pretty much it. I mean, also the nukes, right? Each of the thresholds. But if you can get past all that, I mean, you can beat him easily. I just feel like this fight right here was the biggest unit checks we've had when it came to, hey, can you full clear this in one go? Because a lot of the more recent fights, I would say, I haven't been able to full clear in one go because I'm either missing an equip or maybe I'm just playing a little bit poorly and I need to refine my playstyle just a little bit more. Either way though, this guy is insanely difficult, and I'm really glad that we don't have to fight this guy in order to ascend our BF Emperor, because if that was the case, oof, I feel bad for all my new players out there. Tell me down below, did you guys struggle with this boss fight, or was it pretty simple to you? You already heard my tale, so I'd love to hear yours down below in the comment section. Also, tell me too, if you guys like this type of a challenge fight video more than just me live combing through it. If you guys prefer the live com, we'll go back to the live com, but if you guys like this a bit more, then we'll just stick with this one. Thank you all again for hanging out, and last but not least, you guys already know, don't forget to drink water.